The Sync Sasquatch video comparison on the right, a man in perfect position. He's 6 foot tall, 220 pounds. On the left is the Sync Sasquatch that was caught on video in Logan Canyon, Utah. You're going to get to hear the witnesses talk about what happened, how this went down. We disguised their voices. They want to remain anonymous for obvious reasons. We honor that. Here is the witness interview.
I didn't see any tracks, but it's been, well, a week ago yesterday, or no, a week ago Thursday, so a week and 2 days.
Was the ground hard?
No. Well, no,
a lot of grass
5:30.
Little shrubs like this.
Well, but you mean as far as temperature?
No, I just meant while you were down there right now.
Oh, I
the
took
ground
some
kinda,
pictures.
Was
Yeah.
the ground kind of compressed, or?
There was right. That's why I kind of I didn't know where he'd be walking. There's a reference point of maybe about 50 to 100 feet, probably more like 100 feet, where he could have been here, 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 and here. And so I took a few shots, and I think where he was walking, it seemed as this stuff, but it was there was more ways he could have hidden his prints.
So where were you guys actually pulled over? Were you guys pulled
Right
over
exactly here, right where we're at.
So you saw it and pulled up in here to...
No, we were camping right here, coming down out of this road, and
So you were on Swan Flats camping, okay.
Yeah, and this is an infamous Bigfoot area for us too. We have all kinds of wives' tales. You know, Ben and I, we don't believe, but we, you know, maybe 50, whatever. 50%.
It's hard to wrap your head around it unless you've actually saw one.
Right.
And you know, I have a hard time wrapping my head around it.
It is weird, and we come right down here, and did you come first, or did I? Anyway, somebody said, Somebody said, look, there's Bigfoot.
Just joking.
Because it looked just like him, you know, and joking. And it looked just like him. And we said, oh, look, there's Bigfoot. And we laughed, and then that was about up there, and I said, we got to pull over and get some videos. And they took some video, and I grabbed the binoculars.
We were planning on scaring this one.
Yeah, we were going to scare him first, but then start scaring us.
Yeah, but then we're like...
We're like, he's going to think that's Bigfoot. And then we're like, pretty sure we think that might be. Anyway.
Well, it was round down to the fingertips.
Oh, all the way to the tips, the head.
Yeah.
The arms were a little too long, obviously too long, almost like it could have been a kid with a jacket coming out here or something like that.
It was pretty gangly, man.
It was,
and the shoulders were broad, the arms were longer than...
Well, here's the weird part, and I was sure, at this point, I was sure it was a guy. So I get my binoculars out, and I'm just looking to see a face, just so I can confirm to myself it's a guy. And he looks over right at me. Doesn't break a stride at all. And I saw a dude's Caucasian face, but it was only this much of it. The rest was all black.
So with your binoculars, you saw right around the eyes, like...
No, I wasn't, you know, it was blurry. I hadn't sighted my binoculars. I focused sort of. I haven't focused yet.
Yeah.
And I just looked, and we were trying to get down. We wanted to listen to the debate. That's why we were headed to the camp. And boy, I just assumed it was a dude and got back in the truck. Mostly I didn't want to scare him because I was thinking that could be Bigfoot. But and then we just drove off.
Well, because I thought that we were gonna scare Joe, but then we were like, yeah, it's just a dude. So we drove off, and then later when we looked at the video, I don't know.
She going down there?
She talks me out of going down, and then she goes down. I hope she's got... That's a long hike.
It is a long hike. And we should have sent her the radio.
She's just got her phone on. There's no service. She's a really good tracker. Oh, we were kind of walk all over her track down there.
Yeah, it's been years, but I took some tracking classes for work. But I didn't get down and get serious. I was just looking for anything first. Well, that's how you track. You know, looking for anything. And I didn't find man or Bigfoot.
Measurements of the snowmobile markers, because I got a buddy, I don't know if you guys heard of Thinker Dunker, but he's really good at taking something and putting it to scale with something in there. So I was hoping that maybe he could take some of these markers and get a size. But I mean, my gut instinct is
Kind of goes down and drop down, it's so hard to get the measure. But he was broader.
yeah, and longer arms. So it, you know, if it is a Bigfoot, it would have been considered a shoot.
He's walking the other.
I think she's trying to get to where he hasn't walked to look at fresh ground.
She's go a little bit further south. Oh, she's going to fresh ground, he said.
She's probably looking for fresh ground that you weren't on to see if she could.
Well, I was all up and down there. I was all up to the end almost. Joe went that way. Anywhere. I mean, I actually, you know, you can't check it thoroughly. So it wouldn't hurt to put eyes there anyway. For sure. But I went up the gully and then back down, kind of zip run from side to side is all. So you could easily miss something that way.
Yeah, she's probably hoping to get lucky and find like an area where
Moles or pot guts have been active and left some soft stuff for it to step in.
Yeah, there was a bunch of that down there too. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. Because you find all kinds. In fact, there was areas down there that, you know, now I'm starting to think like Joe all the time. That mat print could be a boot print, you know, a constant boot print, I guess you'd say. Somebody back and forth right there. So Joe, where are we? So if we're over at the other campsite, looking up at this rock, that's where you see that?
Yeah.
Bigfoot.
They call this Sasquatch mountain over there. Because
yeah.
when you're up on the mountain, you can see a big old hump of it. Like
It looks like the
Sasquatch
head of
on
a
top it.
Sasquatch in the rock in a certain position right over here. I think I'm the one that found it too. We were up there eating lunch or something, and then we're like, what the crap? Now I can't remember where I was.
We were up on there. I've only
You
been
remember
up,
the spot where we were?
I've only been up to this one once a couple of times in my life. There's really nice big pine up there. Is there any water sources back there? I've never
Yeah.
Been able to find a creek, but I've only been there a couple of times.
There's lots of dry creeks, and there's lots of springs. Up on top, there's about 3 springs, and then down
There's a trough right there.
yeah, there's a trough right here too.
Okay. You'll see
A big trough right there. And then down off the other side, there's a little gully too, and there's it dips down into a canyon. There's another spring that comes out.
That's great to see you up here.
And her and I were trying to figure it out, and she's like, when we drove past, she goes, I'm positive that's it. And then we pulled up and pulled off, and then we saw you down there, and I was like, I'll bet you there's doing a Bigfoot investigation. Maybe that's Joe's crew. And we flip around and pulled up, and I'm like, I'm gonna ask him.
That's what I said to Joe. You said, you call a Bigfoot guy? He goes, oh, my Bigfoot guy's here. I'm like, you called a Bigfoot? What the heck, man?
No, if I got my name, I was going to be Wasatch Back Sasquatch Organization. That's a good one. That's a good one, yeah.
Wasatch
No,
Back.
you know, Cache Valley, they just formed a group called Cache Valley.
I think I've heard of them too. Started it like 2 weeks, a month or so ago. Yeah, we
Now,
tried.
here's some advice. Don't be telling your buddies you saw Bigfoot. They'll never trust you again. Don't let your babies.
Just saw something unusual that I can't explain. I'm trying to explain it right here.
She's up on the upper bank. And she dropped down. Oh no, she dropped down. So she went from a little gully to the up bank, and now she's in the big gully.
I actually got a footprint about 2 years ago, but I lost it.
Wait,
It was
what?
actually, they were like 5 foot difference. I saw a whole foot. It was like a juvenile. A whole foot print. And then you step on the bank, the toes.
You don't have photos or?
Yeah, this is a photo.
Hang on, you don't have the, you took it from your phone.
Yeah, but I know, but this is a different.
So you forgot to transfer it or what? Oh, crap. Oh, no.
The last Bigfoot sighting that comes to mind where it was kind of out in the open like this is up on Monte Cristo over by 6 Bits. My brother-in-law and his dad were deer hunting, and they stopped to observe a deer that was down in the dry, not a deer, a bear in the dry wash, a black bear. And they're sitting there watching it, and scoping it and stuff, and pretty soon it stands up and walks up the hillside into the tree line. They observed it for over a minute, and
Hands on the fine leg.
he didn't know that that's what Jenny and I do, and we were up there near Hardware Ranch camping. His dad has some property there, and we're camping, and we're around the fire, and he's like, "Hey, you guys want to hear about my Bigfoot story?" And he started telling us about it, and I know like 4 other people that have saw it right there. But you know, they don't really come out in the open, but this one was crawling through the wash, and it realized they were staring at it and made it nervous and stood up, and it walked up the mountain.
They walk like spiders. You heard of that?
Yeah, it's creepy, man.
Get all on horns, get really low.
Well, more like a gorilla.
If they got those long arms, it would make it easier to walk on all 4s too.
Yeah. No matter what, it doesn't threaten me though. I don't ever feel threatened. I didn't, in fact, not even mention.
I had the shit scared out of me one time, and I think it was 2011. We were in Canyon on the south side of the Uintas. Her and I went down into these willows because a Bigfoot sighting happened really close to there. And we went down to check around the creek, a beaver dam, and a beaver pond where the ground's going to be soft. And we get down in the willows, and there's just this loud thump that you could just feel shake the ground. So I thought we were down in the willows with a moose that had stomped the ground. I just couldn't imagine anything being, you know, heavy enough to do. And you know, you felt it and heard it. We crossed a beaver dam, and we found this big 17-inch long track, perfect toes that had sunk in 5 inches, and you could see where it had leaped the 15-foot creek from one side to the other, and we found a couple of more. But we cast that one right there, and it was a cold, damp day, and it took forever for the cast to set up. And when we were waiting for it, something come down the tree line towards the creek, and I expected an elk or a moose to bust the tree line to come down for a drink, and instead of coming out, it paced back and forth just stomping. It scared the shit out of me. It kept it up until dark, and because it was a cold, damp day, the cast wouldn't set up. It was really tacky, and after the sun went down, I just lost my nerve. I didn't want to be there anymore, and we dug it up prematurely and carried it back to the Jeep.
So was that your first time you had a encounter of any sort? Or?
No, it's the first time that we had actually cast a track, and that all that happened. But we'd heard vocalizations a couple of years before and stuff.
Where at?
Beaver Creek's the first time I've ever heard vocalizations. Back there where Green Canyon and the Beaver Creek area and Paris, all that meets up. Yeah, we've heard vocalizations back there. I know it's near that crash site too, so you're like,
Cup River area.
is it like ghosts screaming at night? I don't know.
Okay, we were camping on this side, one deer hunt. I had my nephew with them. About 2 o'clock in the morning, he went screaming for 20 minutes. He said he was scared. He wouldn't wake me up because he was just terrified. It was a deep voice just screaming for 20 minutes.
The screams we heard them 2 nights in a row while we were camping back there, and they were both like between midnight and 1 in the morning, same time. Just a scream that lasted like 20 seconds, and that's it. And then it did it again the next night.
Probably need to start heading back.
Don't let me keep you. I'm gonna probably head over there with her and make some measurements, and hopefully she finds
Send
something.
me those pictures though, because the ones that are in the videos.
How many,
We've made about a dozen casts. We've made enough that we don't concentrate on doing that anymore unless it's convenient. Carrying the extra weight on our hikes and stuff, we're just like, we have enough of that, but if it's convenient, we'll cast them. We just leave the casting material in the car. This canyon on we got dermal ridges on that one that we took up this canyon in the Uintas.
Really?
Yeah, it's the only ones I can see out of all of our casts where you really see the dermal ridges. Watching her and remembering that video, she looks smaller than what you guys had.
Short too.
Yeah, she's only 5'5".
Yeah,
5'5" with shoes on.
So how about the one in Tony's Grove? Somebody saw it there.
Tony's Grove with this gal whose husband and grandpa had a or his dad had they had a deer hunting or elk hunting camp up there, and that's back when it was a big road. Yeah, that's back before it was paved, and they were heading up there and crossed the level right there, and scared the shit out of both of them in hindsight. It scared them bad enough that they changed where they elk hunted every year. They started elk hunting up on Monte Cristo instead of...
That's even worse over there.
The
They just don't want to be where they actually saw the thing. There is more activity up there than over here, right?
I know some people personally saw Monte Cristo. Yeah, 2 years ago was the most recent one, and then the year before, on 4th of July, another guy and his kid saw it up there.
I do want to go take a look at that campsite.
Jenny's figuring it probably come out of the
That's
tree.
what I was just telling him. Yeah, she's probably heading up there because that was my thought. Is if it's a dude, he'd probably come from up here for whatever, hiking or whatever. Unless he's beating his buddy down, then he'd have orange on. But if it was a squad, more than likely he'd come up there. A fight or whatever. Yeah, that's.
Where's Sasquatch Canyon was?
South side of the mountain. It's a 35-mile long canyon.
That's pretty good go about, right?
Yeah, a lot of hunters would price a nickname with that because on elk hunts and deer hunts, they had so many sightings and found footprints that we got that nickname in the 70s. We just kept up with it as a matter of fact.
Is that where you're from? Down there?
No, we're from Utah.
Oh, all the way up here for this?
What's that?
You come all the way from Bell today for this?
We travel thousands of miles for this.
We go to Washington,
Wow.
Colorado, Idaho.
What's your name? Or you have a website or?
My name's Kelly Shaw, and our group is Rocky Mountain Sasquatch.
So do you have any? Have you seen that? The one of the Sasquatch videos that got me the most thinking was that one of Ogden Canyon of the dude with the snow prints, just hopping fences and stuff like
Yeah, we're in
that.
the snow.
Oh, I remember that.
They were
Video.
fishermen.
Yeah, that was several years ago. I remember
I
that.
think it was 07 or something like
They
that.
were drinking.
I don't know. Not the guys. Not guys that I was looking at weren't drinking. And there were two different videos.
Yeah, there's different videos of that. Yeah, that even makes it
There's an A and a B, and they come up the next day because they got scared like you did and headed out. And then they come back up the next day and got video number 2.
We usually have a firearm. We didn't have a firearm that day, and all we had was that little teeny jogger's mace. And then that thing stomping around and busting up.
He'd take that
So what
sucker.
size do you carry?
We usually have a 45 on it.
That's what I just walked. I got 2 extra around 45 rounds.
I think you better just, if you see Bigfoot, just be your pants and then be glad you die in this way.
Are you taking off?
Yeah, I'm going to go up there and look at that campsite first. And
Well, nice meeting you
yeah,
guys.
meet you too.
I didn't think we would run into anybody over here.
So you from what you've seen, you look at that shot, and what do you think?
It moved really fluidly. Has longer arms than a person. just can't guesstimate the height without doing some measurements down there. The shoulders look broader than natural. And then the one really good side profile that he gave, the way how narrow and something the waist is, it's just snowsuits and costumes just don't fit like that. They don't snug in at the waist. I mean, it's stomach area.
Yeah, I would be wearing
The side profile, you guys seen how narrow that was?
Yeah. Well, I didn't get it.
I probably zoomed in on it. I was up until 12:30 last night.
Oh, were you?
Backwards, forwards. You know what I mean? I was trying to justify coming out here today on Halloween, and I'm like, you know what, we really need to go.
Where'd she go? She going to the tree?
I forgot today's Halloween.
Yeah, it could have bedded down all day up there and then come out. I'm trying to figure out what kind of resource it would have been interested in. Right?
Should have sent her on the radio.
Well, you know what? She didn't tell me she was going to head down there. She just had eye surgery 3 days ago. She's not supposed to be doing more than than walking.
Probably just some dude walking down there. He has no idea. He's just home sleeping right now. Probably.
Yeah, she had a cataract removed and a brand new lens put in. She had her other eye down a couple of years ago, and then just 3 days ago she had. So yeah, she's not going to need glasses and stuff here soon.
That'd be nice.
Where is she?
I need that done too. I can't see driving at night. So do you guys care if we make a big deal out of the video on our blog? And
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I don't think I have a problem with that.
okay.
I'm curious
You guys want to remain anonymous, right?
I don't know. I hadn't thought about that.
We default to anonymous unless someone says otherwise. We know how it is. People don't want to be ridiculed or badgered or.
He doesn't even like his picture up on Facebook. He calls me up and tells me to pull it down. So I take it forward and say, okay.
In that picture? It's like a feature out of a book or something. Yeah.
Oh, your profile.
Just doesn't want to be known.
I've only had one out in the open sighting where I'm like, that's a Bigfoot. But it was from this. Well, it was about a quarter of a mile away. It was a little less than the trees up there. We were coming off of Grand Junction, long Bigfoot expedition 2 years ago, and we were going to come home through Spanish Fork, and there was a fire, and they diverted everybody up 191 Indian Canyon, and she was driving, and we were getting close to the summit of Indian Canyon, and there was these 3 trucks and boats pulled over, and like 15 people all gathered right there, and I'm sure they're like, you know, how we get home now, and across the gully, out in the clearing of the trees right there, big old Bigfoot standing there squared off. And so I'm yelling at her, pull over, grabbing the camera, and I probably watched it for about 10 seconds before we got to a spot to pull over. Well, these people were the same distance away from me this way that it was observing as I was from it, but I couldn't see it anymore. I had the camera on, and I run out, and the clearing that was standing in, it was no longer there, but I started filming in case it was somewhere there. And I'm heading towards these people, and I'm looking at the biggest guys in the group, and it was like almost double the height and width of these guys that was checking it out. And I'm heading towards these people because I wanted to ask them if they seen it too, but none of them were even interested on it. But by the time I got about halfway there, they'd all piled in and took off. And that's the only sighting that I can say, hey, you know, I saw something Bigfoot shape size. He was too far away to make out facial features or anything, but I clearly saw the arms, shoulders, the whole body squared off, even the space between its giant legs and stuff. It was.
That was your first, huh?
It's my only.
Oh, your only.
My only.
That's enough. How far away did you say it was?
It was probably a little bit less than the distance between us and those trees.
Yeah, because even with those binoculars, one side of my binoculars is broken. So I can't focus. It's with their big binoculars. I didn't get a good shot of his face. Just I did see a face, and I saw him grip, look right
that if it was something natural, and I have not been able to find a natural explanation.
Has your wife seen anything?
No, she's when she was staying at the cabin in Manorlands the year that she graduated from high school, they had a dark figure pester them in the cabin at night, slammed the side of the cabin, threw a big old branch up on the thing, and they blamed it on a person for many years. They thought it was just some nut, and they come out threatening to shoot whatever it was in the tree line. They kept on seeing it in the tree line and stuff like that and stuff. And in hindsight, they're like, it's probably a Bigfoot up there in the UN as a Manorlands. So that's the only thing that she's
Didn't see any friends or friends.
no,
I just don't think you're lucky.
they all blamed it on a crazy person that wanted to get shot.
Suicidal, yeah, some suicidal dude or something.
Well, it kept it up for like a half hour after they started to shoot them. So, you know, most normal people have been like, all right, they're going to shoot me. So, in hindsight, they think maybe it was a Bigfoot because all they saw was the dark outline.